Book of Heaven, Volume 36, April 15th, 1938. The soul who lives in the divine volition, by just breathing, moves within the Fiat. The whole celestial court feels her breath and motion within itself, as well as the conquering virtue, bearer of happiness, that she carries. Painful conditions in which the divine will finds itself when it is rejected. My poor mind runs, flies in the divine volition, as though toward its own center, in order to rest, to lay down its guises and take in exchange the garments of its light, its breath, its heartbeat, its motion, which moves in everyone and everything, and gives life to everyone and to everything. Now, while I was swimming in the sea of joys of the divine Fiat, my always lovable Jesus, making his short little visit with unspeakable love, told me,
"My little daughter of my will, how beautiful it is to live in my will. As the soul enters into it, so does she breathe with our own breathing, palpitates with our heartbeat, moves in our motion. She places herself in communion with all, and does what the angels, the saints, and all created things do, and makes everyone do what she does. The wonders contained in our will are astounding. The scenes are so touching as to make all stand at attention, to enjoy scenes so rare as to be enrapturing, and who knows what they would do to be spectators and enjoy such delightful scenes from one who lives in our will. Now you must know that as the soul enters into it, she breathes, palpitates, and moves in our motion, but she does not lose her own breath, heartbeat, and motion, nor are they detached from ours. And since our will is present everywhere and circulates more than the breathing, heartbeat, and motion of all, what happens then? The angels and the saints, our very divinity and the whole creation, feel within them, together with my will, the breath and the heartbeat of the creature. They all feel her move in their motion, even to the center of their souls, which is replete with happiness, with unspeakable and new joys, of which this pilgrim soul is the bearer for each blessed, not while enjoying herself, but while suffering and conquering by her free will. And she does so by even just breathing, palpitating, and moving, and in the fullness of joy that she carries, because my volition never detaches its ever new joys, even from a breath done in its will. And since there is her free will that forms the conquering act of the creature, it places in her act its new conquering taste, and oh, how delighted are the blessed, our very divinity, and the whole creation. And in their emphasis of love and the surge of their joy they say, who is it that is breathing, palpitating, and moving within us? Who from the earth is bringing us the conquering act of the pure joys, of new love, which we do not have in heaven, and makes us so happy, increasing our love toward he who loves us so much? And all in chorus they exclaim, ah, it is a soul who lives in the divine will on earth. What prodigies, what wonders, what enchanting scenes, a breath that breathes in all, even inside her Creator, that moves in all, even in the heavens, in the stars, in the sun, in the air, in the wind, in the sea. She takes everything in hand in her own motion and gives to God the love, the adoration, and everything that everyone should give him, but do not give him and have not given him. And she gives her God to all, his love, his will. She becomes the bearer of everything to God and of God to all. And even if not all creatures would take us, we remain equally loved and glorified, because the fullness of one act, of one motion in our will is such that the creatures and everything remain like many little drops of water before an immense ocean, or like many tiny little flames before the great light of the sun. Therefore this motion, breath and heartbeat of the creature in our will is superabundant over everything, embraces eternity, forming suns and most extensive seas that can give us everything. And if the others things still do not lose their life, they are so small in comparison that it is as if they did not exist. O my will, how admirable, powerful, and lovable you are. The creature in you can give us anything, and we can give anything to her. She covers everything and everyone with your light. She makes love arise and gives us love for all. We can say she is the true repairer, because when creatures offend us, we find that she can hide us in her love in order to love us, in her light in order to defend us, putting to flight by way of light those who want to wound us. Therefore, always take to heart the living in our will.
Then he added,
My daughter, our love for one who lives in our will is so great that as she breathes, she gives us everything we have done, the creation, the angels, the saints, our very supreme being, as homage, love, and glory for us. And we, taken by such excess of love, give her back what she has given us. So as she exhales, she returns to us all that we are. As she inhales, we give her back what she gave us. Hence, we are in continuous relationship, and we exchange constant gifts. By this, we keep in constant force our love and inseparability, as we cannot detach from each other, and we feel such delight that we give her whatever she wants.
but while I was feeling drowned in the divine volition, a thought was troubling me about my poor state, having to succumb to a sort of death every night for 50 years and more, and then being in need of others in order to get out of that state. My God, I feel a pain that you alone know how much it costs me, and only the fear of displeasing you and not doing your will makes me go on. Otherwise, who knows what I would do so as not to submit myself this. And my sweet Jesus ran toward me, and clasping me tight in his arms, told me,
My good daughter, courage, do not afflict yourself too much. I don't want it. It is your Jesus who wants this state of yours so painful, this succumbing as if you were losing your life. I suffer it together with you, and true love cannot deny anything to the beloved. Besides, this state of yours, so painful, as though losing your life, was necessary and wanted by my divine will. My will wanted to find in you the reparation, the requital, for the many deaths that creatures inflict upon it when they reject it, not giving it life within themselves. Submitting yourself for so long to this pain of death repaid my divine will for the many deaths suffered, and called it to kiss the human will in order to make peace. And this is why I was able to speak at length about my will in order to make it known, so that it may reign, because I had one who was requiting me and repaying me for so many lives of mine, lost for them and rejected from me, as though suffocated inside the inaccessible light of my will. In fact, you must know that my will runs in anything the creature does in order to give and form its life in her. But if she does not receive it, this life of mine dies for her. And do you think this is trivial, my great sorrow in seeing so many of my divine lives dead for them? Therefore it was necessary to find one who in some way would repay me, so that I be on the attack again, to form my life in them. My will finds itself in the same condition of a poor mother who is about to give birth to her child now due, but the baby is prevented from coming out to the light, remaining constrained inside her womb. Poor mother, she feels her baby dying in her own womb, and she dies of pain together with him. Such is my will. It feels within itself the birth of many divine lives already mature, which it wants to issue in order to give them to the creatures. But while it is about to deliver them, it feels them being pushed back into its bosom. The new life dies for my will, and my will too dies together with it, because without my will there cannot be true life of sanctity, of love, or of anything belonging to our divine life. Therefore, my daughter, calm yourself and don't think about it anymore. If we have done this, we did so with the highest wisdom, with love, which we could not contain, and for the sake of the order that we maintain in our way of operating. Therefore, it is necessary to bow one's forehead and adore what we dispose for love of the creatures.
Fiat.